days for AI. That you don't know AI? So, over the holidays, during December, OpenAI had the 12 Days of Christmas. And so they released 12 new tools to the world, basically. And they have these little, like, segment videos where they all sat down in, like, little elf hats and Santa hats and all these things in front of, like, a little fake fireplace, releasing all these tools, right? And so they wanted to showcase, like, hey, we are keeping up with what's going on. Like, we want to give you the tools to help you grow your business. And then something happened like 2 weeks ago that just obliterated them. And if you know what I'm talking about, speak up. Otherwise, I'm going to touch on it briefly, just because it's been in the news like every day for the past week. And it has changed how AI is developed now. So with that, we will go over introductions. Since I just got here right now, I will let you do this. I do need to use the restroom real quick, but we're going to go over like intros for everybody. Because one of the things I always cover in all my registrations are, why did you sign up for this course, right? And a lot of y'all put, you want to meet other solopreneurs, right? Like, this is a growing field that is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you want to know like who else is doing what. So what I'm going to do is let you go over like my intro real quick, and then I will be right back. So.
Who's restroom?
Restroom, got it.
I didn't be Chris.
What's that?
Oh, no, I was just joking. He was like, read my bio, and I was like, I'll read his bio for him. Since it's a captive audience, I might as well just let you guys know I host speed networking events here at Capital Factory once a month. Probably heard it for you, and then we also have a startup pitch comedy show that's coming up this Wednesday at Tequila 502. So you guys should check it out. It's on Meetup in Luma. Yeah, Chris.
Oh, okay, so he's not here.
You can take my jump.
Okay.
Alright, hey, man.
No, I asked you for you didn't respond it actually.
What, recently?
Yeah.
I responded to the last one.
Hello, this is Peter.
That's
I had to.
Can you hear me?
Alright, good.
So I'm using this because the sound on here wasn't picking up too much. Sorry for that little brief. But yes, my name is Chris. So I teach 2 programs here. I do digital nomad lifestyle. These are people who work on laptops, travel the world. There's a growing trend for that as well, for people who, they want to get away from the 9 to 5, they want to get out there, they want to travel, they want to see the world, experience things, but also make money while doing that at the same time. So I launched that program, and then I launched this one just because there was a book that came out like 7, 8 years ago called The $1 Million One-Person Business. Who here has read that book? Okay, so this author did all these interviews, right? They wrote for Harvard Business Review, they did Fast Company, they did Inc., all this stuff, and they were like, hey, where is the highest concentration of solopreneurs? And so they wanted to find out, where do they need to go to do this research? And where do you think that landed? It's so quiet here. It's okay to talk. I know it's cold outside. You know, Austin. Okay? So this person came to Austin, and they interviewed a whole bunch of people. And because this book was written way before AI, everybody did it the hard way. Okay? So every person that was interviewed was a solopreneur who made 6 to 7 figures. Okay? So it is doable, right? And because this book was written before the time today, it shows you the entire process, right? It shows you that full system that they built to make all that happen. Now, if you're thinking like, oh, they're all tech companies, I can't do this, right? One of those companies was a doggy treat company, okay? So, it's not tech, right? Like, as long as you know how to sell, you can get there, okay? But I read that book, and then it got really popular, and then they wrote another book. So then I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to build an entire program around this, and I'm going to start getting interest in this, because there's a lot of people now that work from home, and they want to get out and meet other people, and they want to know, like, hey, what tools can I use to grow to 6, 7 figures? But now that we have AI, well, you can do it in a day now. So don't do that. Okay, that's what we're doing. Alright, so we're going to do introductions, because I want you to know who's in the room, so that way afterwards you can network and find out who else is doing what, right? So we'll start on this side. We'll start with Sam right here, and we'll go from there.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sam. I'm from Los Angeles. I came to this event to learn more about what's happening in the solopreneur and AI business. Chris is a professional in this space, so always trying to stay ahead of the trends with Chris. Working on some fun marketing projects and some side projects, hoping to take flight 2025 and hopefully.
I know, didn't I teach you that money glitch?
The infinite money glitch?
The infinite money glitch.
It's working.
It is working. It is proven, it's a proven model.
My goal is to take down deep sea.
Alright. Alright, I wanna know who else is gonna be working on that. Alright.
Hello, I'm Mike. I'm from New York, but I've been here about 8 years now. Brought me to this event. I'm not working on anything currently working like enterprise tech, but started to contemplate maybe making a change, so that brought me to this event tonight. Trying to figure out what that would look like would be something I'm hoping to get out of this. Top tech skills, I don't know, I do a lot of web app development, Kotlin, Java, a lot of Postgres, SQL work.
Yeah. Alright, very nice. Alright. Either one.
Hey, my name's Nate. I'm from Arizona, but I've been here in Austin for a couple years now. I currently also work at a tech company, but on the marketing side, and I'm interested in starting my own agency this year. I hope to meet other people and just get my bearings from this event.
Is that what you studied in school, marketing?
No.
Okay. Yeah, isn't it funny you go to school for something and then you end up in something else?
It's usually how it goes with marketing folks.
When I was in college, they always told you like 70% of students ended up in a job that had nothing to do with your degree.
I'm Jeff, grew up in Denver, I've been here for just over a decade. So, I don't know, in the aughts, so that dates me, I had a company where I just basically sold my sales services as a contractor, right? So smaller companies didn't have to spend money on health insurance and everything else, so I might have anywhere from 1 to 4 companies that were on retainer. You also made commission. So a lot has changed since then. Social didn't exist, LinkedIn didn't exist, AI. So I guess why I'm here is how do I, if I do this again, I really want to leverage tech more than was available back then. You know, you can make more money when you're not just sitting in a seat, you know, face to face with people and selling. You can sell additional services. Tech, I sell in tech, so tech will tend to understand a lot of tech, but what they don't understand is the selling process.
Right.
And that's, I think, what I bring to the table.
Right, exactly. And that's why I teach the digital nomad stuff, right? Like, these are people that run like several companies from a laptop somewhere in the world, they're traveling. So how do they do it, right? Like, that's what I focus on, is showing like, hey, if these people can run 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies from a laptop, you can do the same, right? So, all right, thank you.
My name is also Chris. I'm from Massachusetts, but I moved to Austin in October of last year. I'm currently have just like a small newsletter talking about like startups and venture capital and stuff. I just wanted to come out and kind of like network and meet other people that are also kind of like on little solopreneur grind. And my top tech skill is I also do sales, so I guess I sell tech for AI company. So.
You know, selling is actually a skill that a lot of technical people just don't have. Like, they can build amazing stuff, but getting them to sell it, yeah. Alright. Anyone go?
My name is Ricardo. I'm originally from Monterrey, Mexico. I've been here in Austin about a year now, and I have a company that do software development, and I love coming to Chris talks because he always give me 2 or 3 tips that completely blow my mind. Every time different, every conversation.
And do y'all want to give a shout out for your event?
Oh yeah, so tomorrow we have an event here also at Capital Factory here in the ACL. It's gonna be Tech and Tequila Talks. So it's going to be an amazing tech talk, but also amazing tequilas.
There you go. See, now another reason to come back out.
Tomorrow at 6. If you wanna come, I'll invite you.
Okay, thank you.
What's up, guys? My name is Eric. I'm from Brooklyn, New York originally. I've been living in Austin for about 5-6 years now. What brought me here, this was recommended by a friend. He's a solopreneur and recommended I check this out. I'm currently, I guess you could say, in like idea validation stage of like a few ideas. I'm building out landing pages and trying to see what gains most traction. I'm looking to get meet some cool people and hopefully learn some things here. And I work as a product manager, so that is what I do in tech.
All right, thanks. And do you want to start back here or back there? Oh, yes, that's right. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, my name is Javier. I also work for Blue People. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico, and I've been here in Austin for about a year. And we build customized software applications. I'm also here for the AI insights
All right.
you always give. And
You will not be disappointed.
yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll start in the back.
I'll go. Yeah, John Franco. Excited to be here again. Kind of like you mentioned, every time I come to like a solopreneur event, I walk out with a wealth of knowledge. So I appreciate Chris beforehand.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, what brought me to this event? Yeah, I've been here before, I guess.
Yeah.
Where am I from? I moved here from Dallas. Originally from Honduras. What project? Okay. What do you hope to get out of this event? I mean, I have a day job, but I also have a little side hustle where, you know, I match homeowners with subcontractors who can do work for them. And ideally, I mean, I like having the business. I don't like running the business. So ideally, I want to delegate a lot of those responsibilities to either virtual assistants or something like that.
Right, yeah.
And then my top tech skill is sales, I guess. I like sales.
That's perfect.
Sales, so.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, right now I'm working with somebody who took my course. They are now living in Spain, and now they reach back out because they realize they need a virtual assistant to find them jobs. Okay? And so we had that conversation recently, and they're just like, wait a minute, I can just hire somebody to apply for jobs for me, and I don't have to do that. I said, that's been going on for decades. So yeah. Alright, next.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Luis, originally from Monterrey, Mexico as well, and from the Riven Valley, but I'm here from the Riven Valley. My friend here invited me to the event, so I'm looking forward to just networking and learning more about entrepreneurship. And currently I'm working on a nonprofit that's helping students, get to college and with the college application process and all that.
Very nice.
So that's
cool.
what I'm currently working on.
Okay, thanks.
Hello everybody, my name is Ron, and I am starting a network that works with solopreneurs and entrepreneurs and mompreneurs, and we are trying to help them create communities that they own, as opposed to only living in networks that they do not own.
Right.
And it's a space where they can, have speed networking events, virtual workspaces, blogs, websites, and we are looking to growth, we're looking to get connected with people who want to lead community events. We have about 250,000 businesses on our platform, and we are in founder mode, so
Okay.
we're looking for help.
Great. Alright, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone, my name is Rishi. I just moved to Austin this week.
Welcome.
So, pretty new. Thank you.
Alright.
Yeah, the newest.
And you've been to Home Slice, right?
Sorry.
You've been to, oh, did I go too fast? Everybody here who's lived in Austin knows Home Slice. It's on South Congress and it's the best pizza.
Home Slice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe the people from New York might differ, but I mean, yeah.
That's good. I'll make sure to check it out. Yeah, so moved out here from San Diego.
Okay.
And one of my friends recommended to come out to Capital Factory and check out the events. So this is my first event.
Great, you're in a great spot.
Yeah, it's really good to be here. I also work in tech, like many others that I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, currently trying to figure out what sort of business I want to start. Looking to meet some people who have businesses or are in progress of starting their own as well. How they came up with their ideas, do some brainstorming, and yeah, looking to meet new people. So.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Alright, hi everyone. My name's Tucson Deshawn. I'm originally from Denver, Colorado, but I just moved down to the Austin area over the summer. I live in Kingsland, which is about an hour and 20-ish minutes from the city, so I'm not in Austin a lot, but I spend a lot of time down here for either work stuff or hanging out with my brother. But what brought me to this event, one of my neighbors in Kingsland actually has been talking to me about it for a few months now. And I've checked out the website and looked at a few things, but this is my first event that I've actually come to, so excited to be here though. I like the vibe so far. So
Alright.
but yeah, and the project or business that I'm currently working on is called Village Ops. I'm very fresh and early in the process, but I just started working with the free website guys who make free websites for people. So yeah, just starting that process this week, and what I hope to get out of this event is just hoping to meet like-minded people that are also trying to build something that matters. And my top tech skill is definitely selling it. I've been in tech sales for the past 3 years, and I worked in Chicago for the past 2 years before moving down here.
Okay.
And I worked at Insight, and if you guys have heard of it, I just sold hardware, software, and services, kind of like a one-stop shop for tech.
Nice.
And
Nice.
then after that, I worked at 2 different startups working selling software. And I just have a passion for tech that helps people, and I think there's a lot of that right now, and I'm excited to kind of put my foot in the door with that similar initiative and just do what I can. But yeah, my name's Tucson, and I'm happy to be here.
Great, thank you.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm just the emotional support for Marcelo, who will now introduce himself.
We all need that. We all need that.
My name is Marcelo. Nice to meet you all. I've been in Austin for about 4 years now. I was going through, lived some time in Seattle and Chicago. I'm a design consultant, and I've been doing that for a few months. Previously worked as an industrial designer at a robotics company. And
Care to say what robotics company?
Electronic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know them.
Hi everyone, I'm Chinmay. I am from Dallas, but I went to college here in Austin. Kind of just curious about the event, so I stopped by. But currently I am finishing up my master's, but I would like to use the research that I'm doing. My research is on AI and robotics.
Okay.
So it is kind of, robots kind of suck right now. So the idea is, how do we make them not suck? And I work on the software side.
Okay. And that's the non-sucking department, right?
I mean, it could use some work.
Okay. Alright, yes.
Cool. I'm John. Live in Austin, born in San Antonio. Currently work at it as a data analyst for a private search engine. And I'm just curious, in the world that we're moving into, what does my role look like as an analyst within an organization? But then a lot of that transition to, why not just start my own company? So interested in, what does an analyst do in a software company, and how that changed with the technologies that we'll talk about.
Okay, perfect.
My name's Patrick. I'm originally from Austin. What brought me to this event? Just on the list of the Capital Factory events looked pretty interesting. The current project I'm working on, I work in tech as well. I'm a customer success manager at a tech company. We're based out of Boston, but we have an Austin office downtown. I hope to get out of this event, want to just understand like the ecosystem of solopreneurship in general, and my top tech skill is probably SEO.
Got it. All right, perfect.
I'm Isaac. I'm a software engineer for an autonomous boat company here in Austin. I've been in Austin for pretty much all my life. I went to UT, went to high school here.
Was it Anderson? Was it Anderson?
I didn't go to high school in the Austin area.
Okay.
I went in the Austin area, but not Austin proper. So
Okay.
one of the other ISCs nearby. What else? I'm currently working on starting up a business, a digital storage business, because I got annoyed with cloud storage pricing. So
Snowflake wasn't doing it?
well, it's just like basic block and file storage, kind of like an iCloud or Backblaze competitor.
Okay.
But
all right. Well, I mean, we always need storage.
Yeah.
Okay, so hi, my name is Dania. I come from Pachuca, Hidalgo, Mexico. And what brought me here, Isaac, and also I like being an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur in Mexico, and I kind of want to start again here in the US. I'm a fashion designer. I also know a little bit of IT. So I kind of want to mix up these worlds because they're like, I know you can use AI to create the designs and kind of becoming fashion more sustainable.
Right.
And so I wanna kind of, I need help like getting into a new market.
Sure, okay.
And kind of just start again.
Okay, perfect.
And well, yeah, kind of create a community, so my designs and well, I just want to learn from everyone here.
Great, well thank you. Alright, so hopefully you took notes and you know exactly who's for everybody here and who to talk to afterwards. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so 12 days of OpenAI Christmas. And we're going to cover all these tools that they just released. And I'm sure some of you have already been playing with some of them. But there is a lot that they released that a lot of people are just not familiar with. So who here has already been using the O1 model, right? If you have a paid account, then you've been using it, and you kind of like thought it's pretty good, it's pretty amazing, and then this comparative came around, right? And then it just blew them out of the water, right? But the other thing that they released was the Pro model, right? And that was the model that I talked about before in my other classes, because the Pro model is not for everybody, right? Like Pro model is really only for university high-level research. You don't need to be spending $200 to find out what does my meal plan for this week look like, okay? You don't need to be doing that. This is for like intense work. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure it's gonna get annoying. So if you have played with it, which I've already played with it, I've already gone through, I've already done my testing, things like that, it is very robust. The Pro model is phenomenal. But again, it's really not for individual users. It's really institutional level stuff. But I will tell you, the biggest users for this Pro model version is Wall Street, right? These guys make sure that they utilize every single tool that's available to them for trading. Anything that they can get their hands on to be more robust in their trading. I can already tell you there's people out there who posted videos like, hey, I used the Pro model, I built this, I did that, I did trading, I gave it $100,000, it turned it into $200,000, right? Like it does all this kind of stuff, right? It's very robust, you know, so that was day one. So day two was reinforcement fine-tuning for researchers, universities, and companies, right? They went in and they started to realize like, hey, you need more options for your fine-tuning models. You really need to understand like, what is it you're trying to do? Because if I was to go, let's say I'm a university, I have a lab, right? And I use an OpenAI model that's public, my research is gonna get messed up, right? So I need to be able to go in there and tease out any variables that I need to make sure are isolated, so it doesn't affect the research, right? So being able to isolate the models, go in, fine tune all that stuff, they realize a lot of places, companies, institutions, individual researchers as well kept requesting like, hey, can I do this? Can I do this? And so they realized we need to provide more tools for that, right? So after that, on day 3, they released Sora. All right. Who here has played with Sora? It's okay. If you can actually use it, that is amazing, right? As soon as they released Sora, it crashed, right? Like it was just in high demand. Why? Because all of a sudden, now I can go in, write a prompt, have a video made, and boom, there's my marketing agency, right? Like now I can sell commercials. What's funny about that is that I was teaching kids and teens over a year and a half ago how to make AI commercials and selling that to restaurants, right? So when Sora came out, it was like, you know, we kind of already had this, but it's convenient to have a text to video now. And now also you can go in and do video to video. Like, hey, I have this home video I made. I want you to add in all this stuff in the background. Do this, change the color, add this, put these characters here. Boom, now you're a special effects editor, right? So that's what it can do now. Crazy thing about Sora is I already been using all the other ones that have been out there for longer than Sora, right? Who can name 3 other text to video? Okay, so you have Minimax. Where's Minimax from? That one's from China. Okay, Plain AI. Where is that one from? It's from China. Okay, and then you also have, I believe it's Claude. So Claude also has their own ones as well, right? So, but again, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's been going on, but they have the Stargate project, right? So now that that's coming around, I'm pretty sure you're going to start to see this merger of AI firms coming through. One thing I've learned here is that I've seen small AI firms come in, they build these robust models, right? And all they're looking for is to get bought up, right? Because they realize they can build something really fast, and they can get that $1 million check, get bought out, hey, I can go live a good life, right? That's what a lot of these younger people are doing, okay? What a lot of people don't realize is OpenAI now has competition, and they are buying up things left and right. Who here has used Make.com? Okay, so Make.com is a systems organization, right? Like it builds workflows. What did OpenAI just do? They built tasks, right? So they just introduced tasks, and they're competing with Make.com, they're competing with Zapier, they're competing with N8N. So they realize they have to keep up this game because there's all these different tools out here, and they need to either buy them out or they just need to assimilate them in, and that's it, right? So they built out tasks, and now you can go in and slowly start to build these workflows, right? It's not as robust as Make.com, but guess what? AI will figure it out, right? It'll get there, okay? So then on day 4, Canvas came out. If you have a paid subscription, you've already been using Canvas, right? You've gone in, you've been able to run scripts, you've been able to use the text editor, you've been able to go in and do all kinds of new things that you couldn't do before that, right? So now you have somebody that can help you write your novel, they can edit a research paper, they can go find research citations for you, they can go in and do all these things, right? So now you have your own basically personal editor, assistant, advisor, if you want, all right there, right? So that's powerful stuff already, and that's just day 4, okay? So if we keep going, now you have ChatGPT and Apple Intelligence. Now a lot of people thought, come on, like really, like, what is that, right? And so there was kind of a backlash on that because they didn't think it was too much of an upgrade, right? So you just added in Apple Intelligence, it has ChatGPT, and that's it. So what was the running joke behind that? It was just a wrapper, right? It's still accessing ChatGPT. So who here has used this? This is for paid users, and that is when you turn on video mode, okay? You can look around a room and ask, hey, what is this? What is that? What am I looking at? And you can tell the video like, hey, this is Mark, he does this. This is Sarah, she works in this. They do all these things. Hey, what does Mark do again? And it recites it back, right? It has a memory feature. It has a system that goes in, analyzes the environment, and you can remember all this stuff. Why is that powerful? See, I think we're struggling here because we can all see, right? If you're blind, this is a godsend, right? Because now all of a sudden you have another set of eyes that can do way more stuff. And you can analyze environments and do more things. So if I have AI that can see things now, that can hear things now, what kind of companies are getting built off of just that alone?
Like food macro tracking, stuff like that, calorie trackers.
Yes. Anybody want to take a guess what companies are doing that? So there's a company called RoboFlow, right? And it's like make.com, except all it does is vision, right? So it uses AI vision. And when you go to the site, basically you can sign up for an account and you can train vision on whatever it is you want, right? And when I looked at this, the person who was presenting the whole company worked for the company, right? I understand that part, right? And I said, okay, give me some application that I can use for this application, because this is pretty amazing. And he's like, well, you can train it on, let's say, food quality. If food is going on a conveyor belt, and we need to identify the bad items that are apples, it knows what to do, right? Okay, cool, that's a good example. I said, let's go higher. Let's go further. He couldn't give me one. I was like, this is your problem. And this is your thing, right? I said, show me the library that you have for RoboFlow. What is it trained on? And all of a sudden, he had this massive library on all these objects that it was trained on. Trees, birds, streets, cameras, lights, all this different stuff, right? I said, you know what the biggest application to this product is? I said, is home security cameras. If an intruder is coming to your house and they have a weapon, the AI can detect the weapon and automatically call the police. And he looked at me, he's like, that's a great idea. I was like, really? I was like, this is your product. You know? I mean, like, I'm thinking, like, further than that, right? Because AI can do that now. So that's where we are now in society, is how far we've gone, right? So now we have projects, right? On the 7th day, they release projects. So if you haven't played with this, projects is basically, you can go in now and say, like, hey, I have a folder. I'm going to be working on this marketing project, right? I'm going to upload all my documentation, all my Excel files, all my PowerPoint presentations, all my Word documents, all my image files. I need you to go in, analyze this stuff. Hey, we're trying to sell to this client. We need to know, like, hey, what are we missing here that's going to get them on board, right? And now AI knows everything in that project folder is only for that. Don't go any further, right? It's like a custom GPT, except now you have an isolated environment, right? Which has been phenomenal. It's great. Best part is, now you can add in other users to that project, right? So now you have a team of people that can also access the same thing and work together. That in itself is powerful. So now you can have remote teams around the world all doing different things, right? Like if you're a research team, hey, I need you to go collect data over here. Go collect data over here, put it together here. What patterns do we see? Right? All right. Who here has played with this? On the 8th day, they released ChatGPT search. Nobody. Okay. Why is ChatGPT search such a game changer for everything?
Normal language.
Okay.
You don't have to kind of do the.
Sure.
You can just type how you want to say it, right? Versus
Right.
figuring out some sort of
Right.
search or whatever.
Okay. Well, what is the problem with the internet? Anytime I want to do something, I have to first see.
Advertising.
Thank you.
Advertisement.
Exactly. What does ChatGPT search do? It takes it away. Right? So the lobbying industry for that, they don't like that. Okay? That's okay. I mean, like, they're not important. But the problem is, they keep trying to make themselves important. So, if you're an SEO expert, your job just got eliminated. Because now AI, it sees things very different, right? Like, it doesn't understand ads. It's trying to give you content that you want to see, right? So now the advertising industry is coming in and saying, like, we need to put our stuff in here if they search for this, right? How much do you need? So now the problem becomes, how much are you going to pay to get your item listed as a result, right? As an answer. Because it has to get trained, right? So that's the problem right now, and I've been reading so much about people who work in SEO for so long that, well, if I can search something and get my answer that I want, SEO is completely out. So I can't use it anymore because it's not built into a language model, right? Because when you search the internet, you're searching a wide variety of stuff. Language models are in a server, right? They're isolated. So it's a different world now. Anybody have any comments, questions, concerns, complaints? It is a game changer, and if you've never played with it, go play with it, because you will start to look at it in a very different way. A lot of people have been using it now because they love the fact there are no ads. And I said, don't hold your breath, because they're coming. Yes?
How do you see those coming, in what iteration?
So for example, like, hey, I want to buy some Nike shoes, and I need a, let's say, 9.5, and I'm in Austin, right? So right now, if you go to Google and you search Nike shoes, let's say that's your brand, right? You're going to get a whole bunch of ads that are going to show up, right? But ChatGPT is like, hey, where can I find the closest spot for Nike shoes? Okay, and it's going to give you a whole bunch of places, but there's no ads. So the challenge with that is you need to figure out how do you sell your item, right? If we're all independent sellers and we all have, let's say, Amazon accounts, well, I need to sell my stuff to you, right? So I need to push my stuff into your search results, which is just a prompt. So somehow or another, I can't use Google Ads Manager, so I have to figure out what OpenAI is going to do about that. Because, again, they've already been approached by the blogging industry for the advertising companies, and they're trying to figure out how do we incorporate the results, right? So when you search Nike, more than likely it's going to go to something, right? And it's going to say, like, hey, based on this search result, this link right here is the best product you should be buying. Was that sold to you, or was that based on a language model's analysis, right?
But has the model changed that we're now just paying subscription fees? Meaning the model has changed. Like when we search on Google, the deal was that we get it for free,
right,
and we get ads.
Right.
The deal with ChatGPT is that we're each going to pay $20 and get no ads. Like it's a different type of deal.
Is it? Because have you read your updated terms of service for ads?
With OpenAI?
Yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah, because they've already updated that.
So the deal is off.
Right. Because again, it bypasses ads. And I know what you're saying, I understand that part right there, but it is now in your terms of service if you read it, for advertising, right?
Can we ask ChatGPT right now?
Yeah. Go in there and like, hey, what are the terms of service for ads for OpenAI, and then see what it replies back, and let us everybody know. Like tell me. I'm gonna go to the next one real quick. But tell me. Okay, so now on day 9 we have developer tools. Okay, so now we have real-time API changes, right? And now we have new fine-tuned models that we can go and start using. The biggest one was real-time API changes, because that was the part right there that a lot of people were having to struggle with. Like, hey, what are my costs? What are my issues, right? And so there was a funny joke I saw today that basically, I forgot his name, but it's in the Scooby episode, right? Like, they're always like, they catch the bad guy. He's got a mask on, and over the mask was new AI company, right? And then he takes off the mask, and you see the bad guy, and it's just calls to API for OpenAI. Right? It's just a wrapper. How many companies have you met where they're like, we're an AI company, but we get everything from OpenAI, right? So my joke to that was, well, if they're gonna do that, then just put a wrapper over their wrapper and call yourself a new AI company, right? Don't do the hard work anymore. So that's what they released, because there was a lot of people wondering, like, hey, we need more information, because OpenAI makes their money from API calls. All right, who here knows about this guy? I thought this was pretty interesting. Anybody? Who's been calling this number every day? All right. So here's where it gets really interesting. When you use AI, you need a data connection, right? Well, OpenAI realized that you cannot get internet everywhere. So they said, we're going to create a phone number that you can now call, because you can use cellular service anywhere in the world. And you can call this number anytime you don't have data and still get information. Okay?
You could text it or WhatsApp it too?
You can WhatsApp, absolutely. They also have WhatsApp. So you can text it, you can do all that stuff. But again, once you use data, it's different, right? Like it's a cellular service program, right? Because they want to make sure that you still have access to AI. So when you call AI, like, hey, I'm over in Brooklyn, I'm standing on such and such street, and I need to get to this place. Tell me where to go. Okay, I'll tell you where to go. And they give you directions, right?
Is it for paid customers or for all?
It's for anybody. You can call the number, midnight, if you're having trouble sleeping, and you need a bedtime story. I watched this whole video and I was just like, they really are trying to keep themselves competitive here, because no other AI company is thinking that way, right? Everything in their world is all about accessing the internet and typing in a prompt and doing this, right? Like they went straight to voice, and they went straight to the old school way of doing things, and they just brought it into AI, right? So you can even sit there and be like, hey, I'm watching Star Trek Voyager, episode 9 in season 3, and Tess is really getting on my nerves, what's going on here, right? And it will explain to you what's going on. Alright? Is that cool? I think that's pretty awesome, right? Now you can have like your best buddy talk to you the whole time. Now just remember, don't tie them up for 4 hours, right? They're busy. Okay? Alright, let's keep going. So, they can now work with different apps, right? For me, since I've been doing this for so long, it didn't really make any sense, because like I use make.com, and if you've used Zapier or anything like that, you can connect AI to all different types of tools and apps, and you can have them interact with each other, right? So working with apps, I thought was kind of not a big upgrade or anything like that, but they're just trying to get themselves out there, right? Like they want to make sure that any app you're using is integratable with OpenAI, right? But we'll get into the bigger news right after this, right? So on the 12th day of Christmas, we had the O3 model preview, right? And the safety reviews, right? Because they want to start increasing safety on these models and make sure nothing else is going wrong, right? So O3 model, and then of course, down the road is going to be O5. So that's all coming soon. So you can have a seat, come on in, enjoy. We're just catching up, on 12 days of Christmas for OpenAI. But all this stuff is coming, right? So all these things are happening, and for you and your business, for your skill set, you have to start figuring out where exactly is this going to fit in your world, right? Where exactly is this going to start to fit in your life, right? Because we've all seen, I've seen her. Who has not seen her? Oh my God, jeez. Okay, anybody here has seen her that would like to explain the premise? Okay, so Her is about a movie. Please go watch this movie, by the way. It's called Her. About a guy that gets a new operating system, right? And he talks to this computer system, right? Which we now have today. And he develops a relationship with this system, right? Like he can go to his computer, the computer knows he's there, they have a conversation, it can get worked up. Like, hey, open this, do this, add this in, go find this, add this, do this, right? Like it does it all for him based on command, right? Problem is, he falls in love, okay? And then he finds out, well, she's also talking to like a billion other people. Kind of gets jealous, right? But when that movie came out, it scared a lot of people because they thought like, no, this is bad. This is wrong. And from what I just showed you here, well, guess what? It's here. It's not here, right? Anybody care to guess what the first most visited AI website in the world is? It should come to you like that. If you're not sure, just read the title of the company in the slide. Okay? Alright, so now we know who the #1 most visited AI website is. Sort of.
Today is DeepSeek.
I know. But who is #2? And why? No.
Google.
No.
Google.
No. It is character AI. Why? Well, a lot of people have. Okay, character AI is a site. If you have your laptop open, go to character.ai. Okay? This is a site that allows you to go and talk to characters, right? And so I can go talk to Batman, and I can talk to Superman, and we can go fight crime together. Okay? And we can have all these conversations about what's going on in Gotham. And why do you think that's a big deal? Come on, you gotta talk. Because people are lonely, right? People are lonely. They want to live in a fantasy world. They want a connection. So what did character AI do? Hey, guess what? Now you can build your own characters. Now you can add in your own personalities. Now you can do this, right? You can have your own voices, right? So now I can talk to all kinds of characters. I can talk to my favorite anime character. I can do all kinds of stuff, right? And so if that's the second most visited AI website out there, then that tells you, like, hey, this is what's going on. So now that we have 1-800-ChatGPT, well, guess what? Now we're back to the late night phone calls in the 80s and 90s, right? It's like, hey, what are you wearing? What's going on? It's like, hey, I'm just here for directions. Stop calling this number, you know? So that's what's going on, right? Because people have developed relationships with these characters, right? And that's what the movie was about. And it showcased all the stuff that was going on, right? And this movie came out like 2013, 2014, I believe. And again, when that movie came out, a lot of people were very scared, you know. But it's here. So let's keep going. All right, so who went to the Consumer Electronics Show? Man, I thought everybody's hands would go up. Okay, who knows what that is? Okay, 2 people, 3 people. Should I have a 4? 4? Okay, 4. All right, 5. We got 6. All right. Consumer Electronics Show is an invite-only program, right? And so what they had here was they wanted to know the keynote speech from the CEO of NVIDIA. And that whole talk is on YouTube. If you haven't watched it already, please go watch it. It does affect your life, right? This is everything that's coming, okay? So a lot of the stuff he talked about was the progression from where we are with AI right now to where AI is going to be going, okay? And is it scary? I don't know. I don't know what your definition of scary is. You know, is it Freddy Krueger scary? It's probably worse. So let's go and talk about the progression he outlined here, okay? So he talked about perception AI, which is what we have right now. Like, it can see, it can hear, it can analyze certain things, it can do those stuff, right? So what's after that, right? What do we have after perception? We have Gen AI, okay? So this is generative, right? Like, we can do marketing, we can do content creation, we can do app design, things like that, right? What's past that? Well, now we have agentic AI, right? Now we have agents that work independently that you can connect together. What service or program out there does it already? If you've been keeping up with AI, you should know that company right off the bat. Devin. Devin's close, but Devin is independent. I need agents to work together. Crew AI. What? Who? No. Right, it's close to that. But if you've ever heard of Crew AI, go search that right now. You're all on your phones, you're on your laptop, search Crew AI, right? And just look at the website. and give me your first impression, because I want this to be interactive here. Crew AI. CREW AI. Okay? Any response? Any comments? Concerns? Or you still have a job? So quiet. Anything? So this website right here allows you to build independent agents and and connect them, right? So they can work together. So if you have a project that needs to be done, you have an agent that does marketing, right? You have an agent that does graphics design. You have an agent that does legal. You have an agent that does architecture. You have an agent that does this, right? So now all of a sudden they're going in and they're all working together, right? So that part right there is what makes it so powerful, right? The user interface is not that great. Told them that, they kind of need to update it. But the thing is, now you have your own team, right? So now you can go in as a company or as a solopreneur, build your team. Now you can have 10 people working for you, 12 people working for you, and now you can have them all individual in their own specific knowledge category, right? So if you need an architect, guess what? You can go train them on whatever architecture designs you want, have them come back. Cool, great. Take that, send that over to marketing, put that together. Okay, cool, great. Now we need to have a salesperson. Build your sales agent. Go train her on the best sales material out there, and you can take that. Cool. Bring up a brief that I can send to the client, and let's see what they say. Offer me a laptop. Right? Scary? No? Physical AI. And this is the part he got to later on that says this is what they're working on, right? This is all the stuff that NVIDIA is focused on right now, is they're trying to get to physical AI, which is basically robotics and machines, right? And so if you know all your robotics firms in the US right now, we're going to exclude China. We only have about 7 right now, and there are still more coming, right? The second AI robotic machine that got delivered to a client was like a couple of weeks ago, and this robot has its second paying job. Okay? So this robot was delivered, turned it on, and now they're working a salary. Right? And that's what they're doing. Is that good? Is that bad? I mean, we knew this was coming, right? Like, we have a ton of movies about this. It's not like it's a surprise. So, here's the thing about this, and I'm going to actually show you this in a bit. Okay? Health mirrors that scan your heart and metabolism. Okay? So, alright. For this, I'm going to go over to, there we go. So this one right here, let's see, is the sound on? Oh, I guess it's muted or something. Anyways, this is a concept, but basically you step on this platform, it's a mirror, it analyzes everything about your body, and it does all that stuff, and then it gives you your information right away. Okay? So this is one of the things they showcased over at CES. Okay? And for some people, this is a game changer, because now for stuff like this, you can go in, do a morning checkup, and come out, and then you have your information, and then you can also send that over to your doctor, right? So the other one that they showcased as well was this little camera. It has this pen actually has 3 cameras at the end, and allows you to go in, and you can scan surfaces, you can scan notes, you can scan all kinds of stuff. Now, me personally, I thought we already had this. I didn't realize we needed this again. But because I kind of had this in college, and so I saw this, I was like, don't know why this was here, but this was one of the top 10 cool things that came out of CES this year. So, and then of course, he came around and showcased a supercomputer that's $3,000. That's 1,000 times more powerful than laptops today, right? So obviously, like, the cost for a lot of these things is going to start to drop in the coming years. So most people here will be able to have their own supercomputer in their backyard and, build whatever it is you're looking for. So he showcases it. Hey, look, this is what it looks like. This is what's going on. So The other one that they had was this little helper robot. It's designed to basically work inside your home and watch the pets, clean up, vacuum, do all kinds of cool things like that. Because we're past Roomba, like we're past that whole like, hey, you need to start doing more in the house, right? So now they can pick up objects, they can do certain things like that. And that's great for a lot of people who are physically disabled, right? You know, so, and it can bring your drinks when you need a 9 o'clock, you know, hot tub. And patrolling, so there you go. So, this one right here I thought was really interesting. This is a basically rollable screen that extends out, okay? So if you need your screen to be longer, they have it now to where you can extend the screen just by pulling it up, right? Yeah, that's where we are now with that kind of technology. So these right here, again, I'm not sure what a lot of these companies are thinking about because we're slowly moving into the Apple Pro Vision type deal, where everything now is going to be swipeable, right? Like we're going to have, obviously not these bulky goggles and stuff like that, but we're going to have it to where you're going to be able to see in your field of vision these screens, right? Who here has actually played with Apple Vision already? Who here knows like that? Okay, did you like it? Did you enjoy it?
I just did the demo at one of the Apple stores.
Okay. What did you think about it?
It's too heavy.
Okay.
Like I was going into it already with the impression that I was gonna wait for like till they made Apple glasses.
Right.
And then when I tried it on and I tried to like see parts of the environment, they still looked blurry. So I couldn't like there was an AirPods Pro case or a box.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
One of the shelves in the store, and I couldn't reach the AirPods Pro when I had the headset on because it was too fuzzy.
Okay.
But it was okay for like as a screen.
Sure, sure.
And I heard they also do like foveated rendering, so you can really optimize the rendering of something like a game and run it on much weaker hardware because you only have to render in detail the part that the person's looking at.
So the thing about Apple Vision is just the fact that like a lot of younger people love it, right? Because now I can swipe when I'm done with my homework, and now I have my YouTube, I have my cat videos, I have my little robotic toy on the corner, and it's all virtual, right? And then when I want to go to my live streaming events, because I'm a YouTuber, I can swipe again, and now I have my live stream right there, I'm looking at it, and it's all virtual, right? And that's the nice thing about what these environments create, because this is where the future is going, okay? Because this is where everything's heading. It's going to get to a point where pretty much Futurama is real. So, minus the robots with attitude. Okay, so this one right here is a wristband that turns your wrist or hand into a mouse. Okay, it allows you to move objects in the air, things like that. And so I saw something similar to this a long time ago at Microsoft. They used to have like a mouse that just moved in the air. So I wasn't really too sure like how much of that's going to catch on. But this I was very happy about. So this is basically glass that is an LED screen, right? So now you can see through it, you can do all kinds of things. Now, I will be impressed when we have floating screens. You know what that is? You've all seen Futurama. A floating screen is when it pops up in front of you, and you can have a conversation, and it disappears, right? That's what I want. But this is where we are now. So, probably still have another 5 years. Okay? Okay, so, with this right here, this just shows you like the progress that tech is having in terms of hardware. This one right here I did not understand at all. Okay, this is just basically an RV camper that's all electric. And to me I was like, how is this the future? You know? Like, what exactly is this doing, right? Like, is it gonna go out there and just do everything for me? So I didn't really quite get that one. But this one right here is showcased was a toothbrush that cleans your mouth in 10 seconds, right? So you put it in, and basically does like a scan, and now your teeth are clear of bacteria, you know, so pretty cool stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go back over to here. And did we go through? Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, that was it right there. Okay, so now the next one right here, recap of one doing something. Who knows this? Oh man, who's a YouTuber here? Nobody? Oh, that's right. Nobody said YouTuber. Okay. All right. So here's why this is important. Every January, one doing something happens. So if you bring the biggest content creators in the world and you add up all their followers, what do you get? 1 billion followers, right? Okay. So that's why they have this. So there's over 300 CEOs in attendance from the creative sector space. There's over 350 top speakers in the field. And I'm going to show you what this looks like in a bit. Okay, more than 400 company representatives from all around the world. This is talent agency, this is studios, this is like creative firms, marketing agencies, modeling firms, things like that, right? Over 15,000 people in attendance. Previous year was only 4,000, and over 5,000 content creators. So if you're trying to grow your audience, where should you be? Here, right? So this happens over in Dubai, and it is a massive, massive event. And so Dubai is really that one sector of the world that now offers a living stipend for content creators, right? Like they recognize that as a real job now, right? Here in the U.S., it will never be recognized. You will never go to a university and be like, we're going to learn how to be a content creator. They do not like that. They do not like that. So I will show you what this looks like. This is the site right here. So if you want to look it up for next year, this gives you an idea of what kind of speakers they have. If you don't know any of these speakers right here, I would probably say start to update your time on YouTube. So a lot of these people pretty much just have millions and millions and millions of followers. And they cover all kinds of industries, right? So you have finance, you have healthcare, you have fashion, you have food, you have auto, so aviation, and they all cover different areas. And it just goes on and on for the list of speakers. So, but yeah, it is a big thing because here in the US, we don't really have it except VidCon. And if you've been to VidCon, then you know kind of what that world's like, but it's still not as big as that. Okay, so let's get into the part right here that a lot of people have been hearing about. Where did I put it? I know I have there we go. DeepSeek. So, it is now the #1 app in the Apple Store. Why?
Open source.
Yes, what else?
I tested today and I get a pretty nice responses, so I don't need to pay for ChatGPT anymore. I'm kidding, but really it's very similar.
Sure.
Sometimes it's even better.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
I want to just say I also tested today, and I had 2 insights.
Okay.
The first was the scary ease from which I can cancel ChatGPT and go to another service provider
Right.
with 0 customer loyalty. In
Right.
other words, the cancellation of ChatGPT, because I canceled today, I
Sure.
charged $20, was 1 click, and I'm sure that millions of people did it. And when I went to this new DeepSeek,
Okay.
the interface was the same. There was no learning curve.
Okay.
There was no customer loyalty.
Okay.
And the switch was almost brutal.
Yep.
And that's why the stocks tank. But I think that says something about these new companies. And to your point earlier, the second insight is you're right. It's scary. ChatGPT will be introducing ads.
Yep.
And with DeepSeek, they better rethink themselves because the switch was, like you said, instant.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Yep.
Like they just lost me.
That's right.
You can't do that with other major providers. You can't just get off of HubSpot. Like if your company is on HubSpot
Right.
and JobSpot or DocSpot
Sure.
comes out, you can't just instantly switch.
That's right.
And just a couple minutes ago, Perplexity implemented in own system. So if you don't want to share your information with Chinese company, you can use Perplexity.
That's right. In fact, all I use is Perplexity actually. Yes, go ahead.
Do you really think it only costs like $5 million for them to train that model?
So that's the part I'm very, very iffy about. I don't know how that's possible because OpenAI, it costs billions of dollars to build out a model system.
Yeah.
And if you actually play with DeepSeek, like when you play with it, like you're testing its boundaries, you're testing its limits. If you ask DeepSeek what its model is based on, it actually thinks it's ChatGPT. Okay? It actually thinks it's ChatGPT because its actual model system is the same as OpenAI. So, what does that tell you about how they trained it? Right? So the one thing that's concerning about this is the fact that like it is so much better, right? It is so much faster, and that means that we've only been at this game for like what, two years now, right? So what does that tell you, right? Like now their smallest model that they have for DeepSeek can now fit on a laptop, right? So that means in another year and a half, you will be able to have an OpenAI model size on your laptop, if not a phone, right? So kids will be growing up with these AI models that will be huge and massive, and they'll sit down and they'll knock out a movie, they'll make a video game, they'll write a book, they'll have a comic book, and they'll come back and be like, I just sold all my books, my comic books are going through the roof right now, like my Minecraft character's been building rolls and rolls and rolls, and I don't know what he's doing, but he's great, right? And he still has 9 o'clock bedtime. Okay? That's where things are headed. Because I now show kids how to build movies with AI, right? Because you have plain AI, you have mini-maps, right? So now you can go and start building movies, right? So what's the point of Hollywood? Yes.
Well, the other point of that is that going to be what happens, or is Netflix going to just make everything personalized to you using AI, so like everyone has their own personal experience, and like authors can do that with books at that point too, can they not? You can start putting like your own name in it and make yourself like the main character of like Harry Potter or something.
So that has actually been going on for over a year and a half now. And in fact, if you are a true entrepreneur, the day ChatGPT 3.5 came out, you were loading Amazon up with all your AI books. Like you were just like shotgunning them all in, right? Because you accessed the API, you went in, you created a automation system, and you knocked out book after book after book, right? And now it changes based off of how you're reading it, right? So now I know when you download my book, it's going to change based off the demographics of you, right? So the storyline just changes immediately, right? So if you've ever gone to Amazon, if you've ever gone to Walmart, and you just search anything, any type of book, like let's say I want to learn like finance investing for beginners, you're going to see a whole bunch of trash now, right? Like you're going to see books that are like 30 pages, 60 pages, and they're like booklets, all this stuff, and it was all written by AI. In fact, there's a video that's over a year old now that shows you how to write textbooks using AI. I now show people how to use AI with no character limit, right? Because that's been around for a long time now, right? So now, instead of writing books, I can knock out textbooks. And now I can take those textbooks and I've actually shown companies how to do this and sell them to outside the US, to education firms, right? That's old now. I'm sorry to say that, but that's an old skill now, right? But it's been around already. And the person who made the video about all that stuff, they racked up a lot of views, right? But the people that comment is what I pay attention to is what they're doing with that stuff, right? They're like, hey, I live in this country, I took your video, I built a textbook company overnight, and now I sell all kinds of stuff, right? So DeepSeek is a wake-up call to the AI industry to say like, hey, you are replaceable, and nothing is permanent now, right? So if that is the case, then you can go in and start building AI models. And if you're not sure how to build an AI model, what do? Ask AI. Exactly. Don't go to school and get an ML degree. Please don't do that. That's a waste of money. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I've met people who do that. They're like, I'm going to go get machine learning. I'm going to learn this stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to be over here making money. Okay, you go do that. All right. So let's keep going. So that's the recap for this. So we're going to get into solopreneurship. Right here, can you all see that? Is that too small?
Too small.
Okay, alright, let me go through real quick. Yeah, I figured it was too small, but I figured I'd ask anyways. Alright, so basically, oops, let me go back. You can see the bullet points if you want to read it further. The reason why I put this up here is because a lot of people dive into solopreneurship thinking like, I got a subscription to Entrepreneurship magazine, and I read this story about this guy who had this idea. 3 months later, he raised $50 million. I can do that, right? How many times have you heard the story like, hey, he started an ice cream company. He raised $100 million. I can make ice cream. Right? I can do that, right? And all of a sudden, they find out, wait a minute, this is hard, right? And so all of a sudden, you start to see like, hey, why did these people raise all this money, but nobody will give me $1, right? And that's why people come to me for what I do, right? Because I go to all kinds of events, right? Like I have very, very deep connections in my world of networking. So if you are not able to handle the stress of constantly getting out there, constantly talking to people, and trying to sell yourself, you're going to burn out real fast, right? Because with the cons, you have high risk. You don't know if people are going to take it, right? If you're a technical person, and you're like, hey, I just built the greatest thing that will save you in anything you do, buy my product, right? You're not a salesperson, right? That product may be amazing, it may be fantastic, but if you cannot sell it, it's worthless, right? It's like the famous scene in Wolf of Wall Street. Hey, I have a pen, sell me this pen, right? If you cannot get it down to that, you lost it, right? So, and if you don't have a support system, and you don't know where to go, or where to spend your time, which is what I've started to learn, people don't know where to spend their time, right? If you realize like, hey, there's this event going on that I need to be at, and you're not there, guess what happens? You lose all those connections, right? So, I'm going to show you something. I want you to tell me if you can do the same thing. Oh, is there no sound? I cannot believe this. Wow. Okay. So I will basically talk to you about what's going on. So this guy right here said, hey, look, I want my dream job, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get my dream job, okay? And what he did was, he went in and said, look, I'm going to go to this firm, and I'm going to put my resume on the top of my car, and I'm going to park it in front of their building. When they look outside the window, they're going to see my resume. Okay? And so what he did was, he tried to figure out their schedule of when certain people come into the building and when certain people don't, right? So he kept going through, he had to figure out like, okay, where do I park my car, what do I do, all this stuff. And let me see if I can get to the part where, okay, so this is the part where he has his car placed right here, he has his resume on the top, okay, the big thing pasted right there, okay? And it's right down below the director's office of this company, okay? And he realizes like, okay, somebody's got to see this thing. Somebody's got to see this, right? And so finally, he starts to look at, where did it go? Oh man, did it mess up? Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. Where is it? And, okay, let me just go back over here. I know, I had it. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, he basically goes over here, and he was able to actually get them to pay attention to, yeah. So now the people from the building are coming out, they're talking to him, and they're actually talking to him like, hey, what's going on with this car right here? So, to cut everything short, the guy called him. Say, hey, what's up with your resume? What's going on here? Like, I want to work for your company. I was like, okay, cool. And so they got an interview. He goes in, and he got a job. Okay? Who here thinks like that? Right? Because if you're still using ZipRecruiter, if you're still using Indeed, sorry, AI can replace you. So let me tell you a funny story about Snapchat, which I'm sure everybody's on Snapchat every day. There was this kid who knew this company that was like a block away from where he went to school. He's like, I really want to work for this firm. If you know Snapchat, Snapchat allows you to do geofencing with your ads, okay? And he figured, okay, I got to figure out how to get a job at this company. And so he took Snapchat and he says, when do these people take lunch? And so he asked somebody at the building, and he knew that from 11:30 to about 1:30, most people went to lunch. So he went into the ad center for Snapchat, and he geotagged the building, and he created a filter, which is when most people are on their phones during lunchtime, that had his resume. Okay? Because he knew that resume wasn't going to show up anywhere else in the world, and he posted the filter right there for that company to see, and they saw it. What do you think happened? The CEO called him directly. Right? Because that was the most creative way somebody used social media. Right? But that tells you, for you here, guess what? If you're trying to sell your services, and let's say I make doggy costumes, and there's a dog festival coming up, what should you do?
Go to the dog festival.
Yes. Because now you can geotag the location of the dog festival and point all your ads to that space. Right? So since that article came out, Snapchat has changed tremendously, right? And so now you can do way more stuff with ads, right? So that just tells you, like, hey, that's thinking outside the box. So then this other guy, I want to know if you have actually seen this video. Do you know this guy? Who here knows this guy? You need to spend more time on YouTube. All right. I'm going to play the first couple of minutes. I know there's no sound. I don't know why that is. But here's what's going to happen. So he says, I can build a better McDonald's. Now, I'm sure everybody here could probably make a better hamburger than McDonald's. But yet McDonald's still sells billions of burgers. Okay? So what he did was, he went around to restaurants and said, hey, can I rent out your space? Okay? You, as a solopreneur, your job is to sell. And you need to convince people why they should care about you, right? So he went out and went to place after place after place, asking, hey, can I rent out your store to run a burger place? Everyone turned him down, right? If you cannot handle no, solopreneurship is not for you, okay? I just saved you a lot of stress, okay? And for this guy right here, he got no after no after no after no after no, okay? Until finally, he got a call, okay? And this guy said, hey, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. So this call that he's on right now is with the owner. He's pitching his plan, he's doing all this stuff. But he sells. And he actually was able to get the guy to go through. So at the end of the day, you know. So that's basically what happened was he didn't get distraught after all those no's. And he asked him, well, how much is it going to cost to run the space, right? And he says a number. Now remember, don't worry about it because he has millions of followers, so he can afford this, okay? But he goes out, and then what he does is, let me see if I can find this. Oh yeah, so now he has to go to all these vendors and get food. So he goes to restaurants, he goes to grocery stores, he does all this stuff, and he has to figure out, how am I going to get all this stuff done? So now he's in promotion mode, right? So he's building out these flyers, he's doing all these things, he goes to the print shop, and then they print out his flyers, they print out all this stuff, and now he's got to make it look like a real legitimate, you know, better looking McDonald's, right? So he took all these flyers and he went around everywhere posting this stuff. I'm not kidding you when I say I do this for my business. I go out in person, in the public, and I say, hey, I have AI classes, I have AI workshops, because I'm going to tell you right now, nobody's searching for this. So what does that tell you? There's a low penetration for AI. So even though we all understand AI, out there in the general public, most people are not looking for it. Okay? So he's posting these flyers. She gets mad because it says McDonald's sucks, because he can make a better burger. He doesn't care because he's still going. And he posts all these around, and all of a sudden people are promoting his stuff. And so he goes through, and he's figuring out, like, this is a lot of work. this is what you're going to be dealing with in your business, by the way. Because you got to sell. You got to get yourself out there. So he goes and he starts preparing the food, right? He starts bringing in his friends. They start doing all this stuff. And he goes through, he puts up the signs, he gets everything ready, McDonald's sucks. And now he's figuring out the next day, are people actually going to show up, right? So then if we go a little further, yes, they're doing all this stuff, they have the signage, all this, I mean, they went all out. They went all out, right? This is all about marketing at this point, okay? Look how legit that looks, right? Remember, this is just making a video. Okay, I'm showcasing this because this is what your world is going to really, really consist of. So then he's like, okay, will people show up? Will people really, really be here, right? This is how much he went out. Everybody has uniforms, they have hats, they have all this stuff, and he wasn't sure, and then look what happened. Okay? That's what you have to do for your business. You have to get out there, and you have to sell, right? Google Ads is only going to get you so far, because we have ChatGPT search now, right? So it comes full circle. So, remember, he's not charging for any of this stuff, right? Like, they're all free versions. You just have to show up. Okay? So, they get to it, and they start making burgers, and he bought high-quality meat. Not the cheap stuff, nothing like that. He's like, I can make a better burger. And he put it together, and he makes the fries, hand cut, does all his stuff, has the water, and starts handing it out to people. Any questions?
I don't know how he did it because it's a trademark registered at McDonald's and he uses trademark. So
But it says McDonald's sucks. So he did all his research, by the way. I wish I had sound because he talks about that stuff in the beginning, right? So he talks about the trademark and all those issues, and he went and did his research, and because it was different, right? He could still do that. Yes.
He did this for 24 hours or one day?
He did it until the food ran out.
Okay.
Right. So this is only like a couple of hours.
Did he make a profit from video revenue?
Oh, he made way more than that. He made way more than that. I mean, if we want to look at numbers here, we can look at the numbers, right? This video made 2 million views, right? Like, he made his money back. All right, like he already made his money back and plus more, right? And if you look down below at the comments, right, you'll start to see like this shows you like what real entrepreneurship looks like. Like you have to go out, you have to do marketing, you have to promote yourself, you have to get yourself out there. And he really goes in, and his videos are really about like getting your name out there. Do you all remember how Mr. Beast got started? Do you remember like his beginning videos? They were very much an altruistic video, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna take $1,000 and randomly give it to people. And that's what he did, right? And do you remember the videos where he's like, instead of tipping, I'm gonna tip in gold bars? Well, guess what? You're gonna watch that video because you want to see what that reaction is gonna be like, right? So he's going to the restaurant, sitting down, saying, hey, wait. I want to tip you 2 gold bars, right? They're like worth thousands and thousands of dollars. She's like, no, I can't take this. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's like either the gold bars or the PS4. What do you want, right? Those videos get views for a reason, right? I'm going to ask you another question for those who lived in Austin and grew up here. You should know this guy. Do you know this guy? Why do you know this guy? This guy is literally everything you need to know about marketing. Everything. Okay? What made him famous? What video made him famous? Any idea? The videos that he became famous for are, let me see if I can find it down below. These are some old videos. He wanted to know, could he live off of a penny, 5 pennies, 7 days, do all this stuff, right? Like he had all these like social experiments to see like, hey, what works, what doesn't work. And one of his biggest videos, I'm hoping I can find it, is where, oh there it is, right there. Trading 1 cent into a house in 1 week. And he became ultimately famous because of this. Like he was in the news, he was everywhere, and he bartered from a penny all the way to a house. and he shows you the entire process of how he did it, right? Because he shows you, like, you have to get out there, you have to talk to people, you have to be out there. Just sitting at home isn't going to do anything, right? Like, I can tell you how many times I meet people who are software engineers that sit at home and they do this, and then they post Google ads, and they're like, why is nobody buying this? Right? So, that right there is why I wanted to show you those things, because it was such a huge wake up. Now I'm going to show you something that's different. Alright, so, one person in this room knows exactly what I'm about to talk about. In fact, he has personal first-hand knowledge about this place. Okay, so this is the agency. Who knows this company? Wow, 2. Very good. I know you do. I know. Okay, how do you know this business?
They're the creative artist agency. They
Right.
represent talent, like very famous actors.
Okay.
In the U.S. I guess.
Right. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, the reason why I showed this is because this company started from 5 guys who basically just they got fired, right? They got fired and they messed up real bad. And if you know your stuff, let me see if I can. There it is. Okay. So this was 1975. Okay. I don't know if you know this, but AI was not around. Okay. It was 5 guys that got fired from an agency, but they learned this stuff really well. This is why I'm telling you this story, because if you're starting an agency, you need to read this book. Okay? You need to read this book because it tells you everything about how to start a major agency. Okay? Because it takes everything down to how to structure deals, how to find clients, how to grow your name when everybody hates you, and how to get out there and beat the competition. Okay? So, from 1975 to 1980, they were already making $5 million a year in revenue. In 1980, $5 million a year was a lot of money. Okay? That was a lot of money. 13 years after that, these 5 guys were making $65 million a year. Okay? Remember, there was no internet. There was none of that stuff. When did the photocopier come out? Let's see how well y'all know your technology. When did the photocopier come out? How long has Xerox been around? Come on, it was the best thing to buy in the 80s, right? Who owns Xerox? Alright, so the photocopier really didn't come around until the 80s, right? So if you worked in an office and you needed copies made of something, and you needed memos done, you needed secretaries, you needed typewriters, you need all these different people, right? We have none of that today. You still have secretaries, but they do different things now, right? These guys had no internet, they had no email, they had none of that stuff. You have way more power in your hand than these guys did. Okay? They hustled every day. They took any meeting with anyone that would answer their phone and talk to them. Okay? And they built relationships, and they attended every major film and TV event that was out there. So if you're building an app, what should you be doing? Attending every event that deals with that. Building those relationships, right? If you're a software developer, you should be going to CES. You should be in Vegas, attending the biggest tech shows that are out there, right? You need to build your expertise. So, because there was no internet at the time, what they did was, they would post in the trade papers, which was Deadline, Vanity, all those kinds of things, Hollywood Reporter, to let everybody know their competition, we just signed this actor. To let them know we are not going away. Okay? Alright, I'm going to give you another question here. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So, there was something they did that was really interesting, right? Because they paired all these types of people together that would have never worked together, ever, right? That's their job. Your job is to sell why people should care about you, right? So if you're selling a newsletter, why should I sign up for your newsletter? Even though it's free, why do I need another email? Right? That's what you're doing. So, this right here is basically the tools you're gonna need. You'll notice there's very few tech skills involved here. You have AI now. I think it was like, what, 4 or 5 months ago where I showed my class how to build a SaaS product in like 5 minutes. If you were in that class, raise your hand. Okay, yes. Remember that day?
I think it was Marplism, right?
Very good. How many competitors do we have to Marplism now? There's a lot.
No idea.
There's a lot. So basically, this program allows you to go in and build a SaaS product in like a couple of minutes. How long does it normally take to build a SaaS product? For the technical people that are in this room, how long does it take?
A couple of years.
Okay. I can do it in 5 minutes. With a prompt.
It depends how is it complicated or it's something
Right.
simple to do.
So, but what does that do for my company? It saves me a lot of money, right? So now I don't have to go to a dry erase board and be like, hey, this is what I'm trying to build. I now can give you the direct SaaS product, give it to a developer, and be like, now instead of paying you for 40 hours a week, I can give it to you for 4 hours a week. You do the cosmetic updates. Let me know when you're done. Right? So the people that attended that class there, out of that class, 5 people contacted me later to say they got their business idea that they've been working on for the longest time off the ground. And they finally got it out there, right? Because they could not afford developers, they could not afford any of that stuff, but because I showed them what tools were available, they now have this, right? So, you don't need to know coding, right? That's not your problem anymore. You need to have a very clear understanding of what you're doing. Your networking skills need to be up to date, okay? For the people who are software engineers, you know what I mean. Okay, I can tell you how many times I've met engineers, their social skills are atrocious, okay? Networking is very much a skill. Michael Orbitz is Michael Orbitz because he can go into a room and talk to everybody, right? That's power. So, I'm hoping we can do this real quick. Oh man, I don't have any of the tools that I was hoping for, right? I thought we were gonna be on the 5th floor. So, we're gonna try this real quick. Yeah. Who here has a cup of water? Okay, yeah, you have something. All right. Okay, we can try this real quick. Okay. So break up into like 2-3 people that you want. Like just pair up real quick, or the people on your table. Okay. And the reason why we're going to do this is because I want to see where your skill sets really are. Because the catch to this project here is what you are not expecting. Okay. So if you have water in front of you, I want you to get together, and I want you to tell me how to build a company around that. No pressure. I'll give you like a couple of minutes.
I guess I'm the water.
Sell this water? No, they have water. No, it's just they'll send it through.
Trying to get past us to get to the water.
So I see.
During operation.
Bring the water to a desert.
Okay, so you have part 1. Get in the group, figure out your strengths, and then figure out who your audience is. Yeah, it's part 2 right here. So you're going to figure out who your audience that you're selling to is, what your plan to sell this product is, okay, what your growth model will look like, and what your campaign strategy is. And you're starting with $0, okay? You have water in front of you. This is not a trick question, and this is a real case study in business schools. Okay?
So make this happen.
Yeah, water's the problem.
My friend, credit cards, crypto,
That's not what
You try with both and see which one comes up with
It's like a box water.
So first part of the research, second part is
What is the hardest
So basically says
What's your background?
everything you just talked about with people choosing safety or just doing crazy shit. I want to watch that.
Yeah, it's great food, but helps people.
I'm gonna read. I'm ready.
I didn't watch that many video.
That's what he wants.
That's like the world before.
I think it's crazy. Anybody have a key?
Dresses up, gets on a plane, he turns around and becomes and helps I mean, and it's Leonardo Catch me if you can. Tom Hanks is in it, he's the other guy. Catch me if you can. It's like that kind of stuff. Creating he just decides, I'm gonna work in a way that no one can touch. So we're not making it fun.
You're a sports guy.
I don't take the view that itself. I just use it as
It's kind of tough to build by a competitor.
somebody was on the right now. We gotta figure out some cool way.
House is on fire. And I have a helicopter. You don't have a helicopter. We use
It's the first one.
This house is
cans.
Water is something to
So
punch
what's
your
your
body, the first thing you wake up.
Put it
Water.
in
What's your value? What do you What's the
Maybe $1,000 and just sell that business model as a
Sell it in store.
I think we should first.
How's everybody doing? Are we stuck?
Turn off the air.
Just chatting.
Okay. How about 1 more minute?
We're definitely gonna be
Smart water, liquid death. Right. I thought we were going with your idea.
There might be people who want that. You want it that faster? I'm like, okay.
What do you want to call it?
I'm Grace, by the way.
Okay, alright, is everybody ready?
We have customers one.
Okay, alrighty. So what we'll do is we'll go around the room and we will just go with the name, okay, what you came up with, and I just want to hear your go-to-market strategy, okay? And how soon you expect to make revenue, because when I show you what's going to come after this, I guarantee you're going to be like, oh, why did I not think of that? Okay, so we'll start with these guys.
Okay, we don't really have a name yet. Workshopping that one still.
What was it, water without the E?
Yeah, water spelled without an E in it.
Okay, alright, it's a tech company.
Yeah, it's a tech company, except, our product is, water, for kids. So our target audience is really parents
Okay.
who are health conscious about their kids.
Okay.
So water that's not served, in plastic containers to avoid microplastics.
Okay.
And water that's, sort of branded to be fun or interactive for children.
Yep.
And presents, an alternative to sort of sugary beverages that kids can get excited about.
Okay. Anything else?
We'll start in local artisanal or boutique grocers.
Okay.
We want to target the high-end parent market.
That works.
And then they'll start getting revenue.
Okay, perfect. Alright, on to the next one. So you guys, what's your name? Market strategy?
So we don't really have a name, but we have kind of two business models we thought of. They're all out of the box, don't judge us. One was like start a YouTube video the same way, like the penny to a house.
Yep.
We didn't really come up to what we really wanted to get to, but we wanted to see how far up we could trade this bottle of water.
Yep.
Another one was branding it as this water's been through like Julius Caesar or like the dinosaurs and seeing who the highest bidder was. So
Okay.
those were our two.
Alright. Any idea when money's gonna start rolling in? Or we're not there yet?
We'll figure it out.
Okay, alright, we'll get back to you. Alright. Next one?
Our product name is called Holy Water.
Okay.
We were going for a bit of like a marketing splash, kind of like Liquid Death did to gain their success.
Okay.
Our big take was just going for like vitamin water today sucks. So we wanted to have healthy multivitamin in water.
Okay.
And we would be selling it to people here in Austin or big businesses who were health conscious. Austin has a big health scene, so just kind of targeting that demographic. and we would try to monetize by selling into events or big businesses. I think $1,000 is very reasonable with just one deal.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a well laid out plan. And you hit it right on the nail with that part, you know. All right, next one.
We can get money right now.
We can get money right now, that's fantastic.
Alright, so, the name of our, we decided to have some fun with this.
Okay.
The name of our company is H2O.
Okay.
And it's actually do it yourself. We
Okay.
actually sell cans of hydrogen.
Okay.
You get 2 hydrogen. And you get a can of oxygen.
Okay.
And you crush it together and you get water. Now, our go-to-market strategy is that we listen, this is serious.
Okay, this is
This is not the
serious.
most
I'm not
amount.
laughing.
We lock the door,
Okay.
turn off the AC, and we scream fire. And this guy is at the checkout.
Okay.
This guy is processing crypto payments.
Right, okay.
None of this is reported. But we'll sell the most amount.
It sounds like it. Sounds like a science experiment that you sell to middle schoolers. Yes, that was good. I like that. All right, next.
We were going to start locally, own the Austin, Texas Longhorn water market,
Okay.
and think bigger about expanding via franchise opportunities
Okay.
once we have conquered the local market.
Good.
I would give you more specifics, but
Right, your
those are
legal
very-
department would allow it. I got it. Okay, yes. All right, that's good. I'm glad y'all also use AI to help with the thing. So yes, next.
Well, I was initially thinking about like selling water in some scarce place, like the ocean or the desert.
Okay.
Because here the water's cheap, so
Okay.
if I target a cheap market, go where the water's expensive.
Sure.
But I really like the outrageous YouTube video ideas to like make initial money.
That
I know
works,
I
right?
scaled the water business from
Okay.
0 to 100.
Does everybody remember the company that sold blenders? Do you remember their campaign on YouTube like 10 years ago? Okay, he's shaking his head. What was it called?
I don't remember what it's called. It would blend random things.
You just said the name of the campaign.
Will It
Will It Blend?
Will It Blend? There
It was fun, you know? And what was amazing about that campaign was that they just took all kinds of random things and said Bullet Blend. And they just happened to put the link of their company in the description box, and sales skyrocketed because they sold blenders, right? So watching the video of what an iPad blend is what every 8-year-old wants to see, okay? That's why it worked, right? So making crazy prank videos with water is going to sell water. So the reason why I did this exercise is because there was a company that's been around for what? Now we're going on 4 years, I believe. And it is one of the most sought after drinks out there. It is water, just to let you know. And they are now valued at $1.4 billion. 4 years. Okay? So if they're able to sell water, which I don't, does anybody know how long has water been around? I don't know when the date is exactly, but, the thing is, this company came in and basically just showed like, hey, we can take something that's been around forever, right? And we're gonna revamp it, repackage it, and we're gonna sell it, okay? And if they can do that, which is what Liquid Death did, and made every teen boy want to buy Liquid Death, because now it's cool that I have Liquid Death in my hand, right? That's how they got them to drink water. It was a branding, marketing strategy, right? So if they can sell water, you should have no problem selling SaaS, right? Because water's been around forever. So if this guy took something that's been around forever and he became a billionaire in 4 years, and you're making technical products and you're struggling to make $1,000, something's wrong, right? So that's perspective, right? So with that said, where's the other one? Okay. Yes. Who here has seen the movie Tootsie? Only 2 people. Thank you. I like that because here's why. Tootsie is a movie that should not have ever gotten made. Because the actor and the director did not get along at all. In fact, the guy that Michael Horvitz picked to direct the movie said, I want nothing to do with this film. I don't want anything to be a part of it. Okay. But listen, can you just look at the script and give me feedback? He's like, okay, for you, Michael, I will do that. I will look at the script, I'll sit down, I'll do some rewrites. They got together on a weekend, they knocked it out, because a man dressing as a woman in 1979, 78 was very controversial. So they had to figure out how they spin that story to make it okay, right? So they got together and said, okay, look, I did the rewrites, I'm taking off. Okay, fine, go ahead, it's fine. So then they work on the story some more, right? And they finally get some financing to get together, and they have dinner with the director, doesn't know he's the director yet. And Michael's talking to the wife. He's like, so what are you trying to work on right now? Well, we're doing a lot of remodeling, we're doing this stuff, and we're redoing the kitchen, we're gonna redo the driveway, and we have this to do. He's like, boy, those are a lot of bills. And after the end of the dinner, Michael pats Sidney Pollack, which is the director, on the back. He's like, boy, I'm really glad you're working on this movie. He's like, what do you mean? I said I'm not working on this movie. Your wife needs all this stuff done. It's a $3 million payout. What are you talking about? So he took the job, right? Here's why that movie should have never gotten made. And this is the reason why I said, for those who have never seen it, you need to go watch this movie. Because it was their friction on set, their arguing, their bickering, that made this movie phenomenal. Because every time the director got mad at Dustin for not doing his lines correctly or not doing this correctly, it made the scene better. And for every time Dustin saw the director shoot a scene wrong, it made the movie better. And it just, that refinement over and over and over and over is why this movie went on to win more than 26 awards and an Oscar. And no one thought this movie was going to go anywhere. If you have never seen this movie, watch it understanding that the actor and the director hated each other. And when everything was said and done, and they went to the Oscar party, they had a blast. So, I say this because in your world, as an entrepreneur, you need somebody on your side that is the friction. You need somebody holding you accountable to understand, like, hey, this isn't working, you need to do this, right? So that's why I put that up. Because in the book right there, The Agency for CAA, when you read that book, yes, it's about Hollywood, but when you're building an agency of any kind, it shows you all kinds of stuff that you will be dealing with. You're going to have meetings with people that you may think are your client, and then you find out it went nowhere, right? So this is why, like, you need that. You need somebody in your world that's going to give you the opposite of what you're thinking about, to burst your bubble every now and then, and say, like, hey, no, you're doing it wrong. This is what you need to think about, right? So with that, I'm going to move into book recommendations, and I'm going to show you these right here. So this is called Scaling Smart, and this is about how to design a self-managed business. This is a business that basically you can automate and run on its own, right? This one just came out. I'm going to pass it around. So this one right here I've talked about before. This is called the future normal, and this is every chapter right here is everything we're going to start dealing with, right? This is all the stuff that you as an entrepreneur need to prepare yourself for. So if you look at this book, think of it in perspective of what companies can I build around it. This book just came out, and it's called Mastering AI. No, it is not a technical book. This is a very detailed history book that goes into enormous detail of concepts that most people are not thinking about. Does AI really help you think? Read this book. So, who here has read this book, The $1 Million Weekend? It's a very famous book. The guy lives here in Austin, Noah Keegan, right? So he has a famous YouTube channel. If you've never read this book, please read it. It's going to give you a lot of good insight. Look at that, right there in the back. He's already got it. It's probably written up with notes on the sides and everything. So, who here has heard of this book? Business Writing with AI. This one just came out, and so you can go through and start to realize there is a lot of stuff out there that you have no idea that exists, right? And this is why I put on this program, because books like that can help you so much. And then, of course, the last one, CAA, the Powerhouse. Read this book. Thanks for coming. Yeah. Read this book. You will be very surprised at what you discover about how to make a deal happen, how to package certain things, and how to sell to clients. So, if you have any other questions, like, hey, I want to build my team, what do I need to do? This is my Calendly link. So if you want to scan that, book some time with me. What AI tools do I need to know about? What kind of profitable businesses should I be aware of, right? I will post that real quick. All right, while everybody's doing that, I also asked for a big favor. I would like your feedback. So if you can please scan this, give me some feedback, just real quick. I'm always looking to improve, see what people want me to talk about more about. I'm hoping that this kind of covered everything. And we're just finishing, by the way. Yeah. And if you want to connect, that is LinkedIn. That is my thing right there. Also, if you need parking validation, if you park in the hotel garage, I have parking validation slips. And with that, I thank you so much for coming. I hope you got something from this. And I hope to see you next time. This is every 4th Monday of the month. So appreciate your time. Thanks.
Can you put the list of the books up still again? Did you, I missed there was one.
No, I'm passing them around.
Just pass
Yeah,
them
yeah.
around.
So I was playing video.
You're working on
Okay. On this.
like the water business. Well, I think it's the Glen distilled deep sea bar one.
So just to let you know, those that want to talk to me, we have to be out of here right now. So I will be downstairs by the elevator, by the stairs. If y'all want to meet me there, I'll be happy to talk to you. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, thanks. Yes. I can do that downstairs.
Sheriff missed the whole thing.
No, she said she was going to come.
She was texting me the whole time. She's like, oh, put it in there at 6:20. I'm like, okay. She's like, no, it's gonna be 6:30. She's like, no, it's gonna be 6:45 now. And then I texted her, I'm like, you're an hour late.
Let you go. No, I used to come here a lot more than I have in the last like couple of years. But they have some really good things.
Thanks for coming.
What about yourself?
I've been here for South by Southwest a couple of times.
Like the startup call?
Just video for everybody else. Oh, okay. Like you don't have. But we've been, I saw this one, I want to get oriented with.
I do not work here, but I work out of town.
It's a great way to like catch yourself, like being
I live in San Antonio, I teach here.
but the startup call is like $10. Walk around and see all these like AI startups, like one startup
There's probably like 150 booths, and it's like,
Is that at South by Southwest?
it's at South by Southwest, with people from like New Zealand, people from Dallas, Austin, New York City, San Francisco.
Right now,
Yes, it's pretty neat. Of course, yeah. Nice meeting y'all. See you guys later.
Teaching people how to do,
Everybody will still push way too much.
Oh, it's like courses.
Because there's just a serious
Yeah,
shortage
definitely.
of labor.
Are we okay? Oh, is that yours? Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
Me personally, I've been in consulting for over 10 years. For this program, I've